Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite makes the process of becoming a published, best-selling author as simple as sipping your morning cup of coffee. You can learn more about Authors Unite at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner, and today I have Kayce Neill with us. She's a love and intimacy expert. So welcome to the show, Kayce.
Hi, thank you.
Of course, thanks for coming on. And we'll dive right in. The first question that I have for you is, what's the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
So the one that immediately came to mind was the moment I met my partner and my boyfriend. So it was one of those moments where I had that feeling of like, okay, I have to go hear him speak. I have to go hear this message. It's been something that the message itself had been something that was coming up over and over and over again, kind of thematically in my life. And so I decided to go to this event that he was putting on where he was doing an introduction into the work that he does in this world. And it was in that moment that everything kind of clicked into place. And so for me, it's always a reminder that when I'm noticing synchronicities, when I'm noticing things that are happening around me and like multiples, and I feel a pull to go and do something, that I need to just do it and not worry about anybody else or worry about what other people say or, worry if other people are going to come with me. It's just like, I feel a drive and feel a pull, and I need to just follow it. And magic and amazing things always happens.
Yes. And what's the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Absolutely. So I loved when I saw this question because in my industry, I really work with singles and couples around getting in touch with their sex pleasure, desire, and turn on, and what that really means. And so for me, the most valuable piece of information is that everybody experiences those in a different way, and we've all been conditioned that it should look a certain way. So the work that I do with people is helping them discover what their erotic blueprint type is, which is similar to the 5 love languages, and then help them actually be able to put words to what their desires are, what turns them on, what brings them pleasure. And then they're able to communicate that with their partner or soon-to-be partner, and vice versa.
And what's your best piece of overall business advice, or not necessarily industry specific?
Yeah. Surround yourself with people whose strengths are your weaknesses, and ask for help.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
It would be to stop worrying about other people. Stop worrying about what other people think. Stop worrying about what other people might do. And to really just to follow your heart and not worry about that.
And it might tie in with the next question, but in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
Again, just surrounding yourself with people who love you and support you.
And what's the best book that you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from that?
Yeah, so I'm a pretty ferocious reader. And so one of the books I read recently that shifted a lot of my mindset is called The Book of Love and Creation. And in there, in the prologue, it talked about how the action of fear is to create more fear. And to have safety in your life, it's actually about figuring out how to get the freedom from fear. And that fear is really what keeps people away, what keeps you from having your dreams met, what keeps you stuck. It's all based in fear. And that fear is not actually our protector.
And what's your favorite quote and why?
Okay, so the quote is, "The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen," by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And I just love that because it reminds me that we've all got stories that the assumptions that we make up of other people aren't ever true, and that everybody has an incredible story behind who they are and how they got where they were.
Wow, that quote is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And last question just before we let you go is where's the best place for people to find you online?
Absolutely. So my website is www.xokayce.com.
Perfect. Thank you again for coming on, Kayce. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tyler.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.